A drug overdose, a robbery warrant, a neighbor's video surveillance showing a body being moved, and a big plot twist. Just another night in Seattle filming news with SPD and the SWAT team bringing things that go. It all started yesterday around 4:45 p.m. when a resident on 35th Avenue Southwest called 911 to report seeing a neighbor placing a body inside a Ford Explorer wrapped up in a blanket. The residence was also able to provide video evidence showing the body being loaded into a car. Shortly after, SPD put out an all-call, asking officers to be on the lookout for the Ford Explorer occupied multiple times in connection to a possible homicide. Police then surrounded the residence, but no one would answer the door. A large SWAT response was then called in, and they made entry. A male was taken into custody and said yes, a woman's body was taken in a blanket, but she wasn't dead. She was overdosing on narcotics and needed to be taken to the hospital. Police were then able to confirm the man's story after contacting Harborview Medical Center, leaving the man not being charged for homicide, though being taken in for his robbery warrant. The woman continues to recover in the hospital.
This abandoned asylum housed one of the most criminally insane serial killers in New England. Welcome to Connecticut Valley Hospital in Middletown, Connecticut. Opened in 1868, this was originally called the Connecticut General Hospital for the Insane. At its peak, the hospital housed 3,200 patients. Many patients here were subjected to extreme abuse and neglect, such as patients ingesting batteries, razors, and paper clips. One patient inserted pens into himself. But we're here to talk about murderer Amy Archer Gilligan. She was a nursing home proprietor and serial killer from Windsor, Connecticut. In 1919, she was charged guilty of murdering at least 5 people by poisoning them. One of her victims was her second husband, Michael. The others were residents of her nursing home. Studies and newfound evidence shows that she may have killed up to 60 people for life insurance money. She remained here until her death in 1962.
Investigators searched Idaho suspect Bryan Kohberger's apartment and collected a lot of evidence, it appears, yet they have not released it to the public yet. It's actually pretty strange. An Idaho judge sealed the search warrant for Bryan Kohberger's apartment. Police did not want to release the search warrant details because they believed that it would create a serious and imminent threat to law enforcement and could result in the premature end of the investigation and create a threat to public safety.
She was almost home, but she's not coming home.
Miles Spruill is devastated. His mother, veteran postal worker Dilma Spruill, had just left work and was walking home in West Oakland when she was attacked on the street.
Somebody came up, stabbed her multiple times.
Spruill, who was 71 years old, died at the scene. Oakland police arrested a suspect, 28-year-old Wilbert Winchester, who's been charged with murder. A motive for the attack not yet known. Her son had this message for the alleged killer.
I bid you peace and I bid you farewell. You took my best friend. You took the only last living birth parent that I have.
It happened at about 12:30 early Wednesday morning. Spruill had finished her shift sorting mail at the post office on 7th Street. She's been a postal worker for almost 2 decades. She was walking home in the middle of the night, which she usually does with no problem. But she was stabbed near 8th and Henry Streets around the corner from her home.
What the people that was cleaning up the blood, it was right here, so if anything, she normally doesn't walk up and then across the street because that's kind of backtracking, so she walks at an angle.
It's tragic because this is something that she does all the time, walks home, doesn't bother anybody. Dilma was sweet, the sweetest woman ever, like my second mom.
Spruill and her son were caregivers for her longtime partner, Welton Jackson, who uses a wheelchair and undergoes dialysis.
27 years.
27 years.
I hope there's justice. I hope you find whatever you need to take for you to heal. I'm not right. I won't ever be right. It's going to take me some time.
The Postal Service tells me the victim beamed with energy, joy, and brought light to all who had the pleasure to know and work alongside her. Now, as far as the defendant, I've learned he's been charged with attempted murder as well for allegedly stabbing another woman 2 days before the postal worker was killed. Live in the newsroom, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Okay, so sorry, again, Henry, you're saying that the person that has been arrested for this stabbing was also involved in another stabbing?
Yeah, we just learned that information moments ago, Heather. No motive for that case. I do know that this defendant, the suspect, has a conviction, at least, for elder abuse. So he may have a history of attacking women, possibly for no apparent reason.
All right, something that you'll continue to look into for us. Henry, thank you.
Killers That Got Caught for Being Stupid, Part 3. And this is a series I've been doing, so make sure you follow along. I just felt like I had to make this video, but we're gonna talk about this guy right here. I remember when the Idaho tragedy first happened, there was this idea going around online that some criminal mastermind had done this, that it was a serial offender that was never going to get caught. When in reality, no, it was just done by this dumbass. And you could tell that he thinks he's the smartest guy ever, but we're here to knock him down a peg. For one, Brian had his phone on him the entire time he was casing the house leading up to the crime and for most of the night he committed the crime. And when the cops got his phone records, he literally drew a map of him driving straight to the crime scene that night. And the reason the cops had enough evidence to grab his phone records was he left part of the weapon he used in the house that night in a room that he locked behind him. So even if he did realize he had left it there was no way for him to retrieve it. And he walked straight past one of the surviving roommates, somehow without seeing her, and she was able to give an exact description of him to the police. And the police went to go question Brian because they knew he drove a white Elantra, but the first thing they noticed was that he had the bushy eyebrows that the roommate described the person in the house having. So the next time you see his stupid photo and hear, oh, he was a PhD student, he was learning how to commit the perfect crime, no.
Alright, let's escape from North Korea. Okay, so it's harder than ever to actually escape North Korea.
Electric fence, and then there's guards shooting to kill, and then past that there's landmine.
So starting in Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, we have to make the journey all the way to Yalu River. This has been where most defectors have escaped from North Korea recently and is still probably the best bet. So we're going to get to the Yalu River through Sinuiju, which is about a 2-hour and 50-minute drive from Pyongyang. This is not a good place to leave from because it borders Dandong, which is a Chinese city with a lot of security. So we're going to have to walk about 23 miles into this mountainous area that's definitely going to have a little less security, but it's still going to be very difficult to get through. So we have to worry about the electric fence, armed guards all throughout this area, and of course watchtowers. But at least one thing we do have going for us. So this is why defectors are only basically able to escape at night. So with no phone or flashlight or anything, you basically have to just go towards the light.
I was seeing these lights coming from China. Go where the lights were.
At this point, you just wait till nighttime and swim about 3,000 feet to China.